And a lot of people looking for ways to fight social injustice beyond just protesting. Calls for supporting Black-owned businesses has become a national movement. Joining us now with more is president of the Black Business Orlando, Petrona Ramsay. Good morning to you, Petrona. It is good to see you this morning. Love your white little ensemble you've got going on there. It's pretty.
Thank you. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. I'm so glad you're here to talk about this because this is an important topic. Black businesses, they're faced right with the COVID impact. They've got the protests going on. Now, here's the thing. That's not different from what other businesses are experiencing, but it could be an even greater challenge for Black-owned businesses, right?
Yes, absolutely. As far as coronavirus, due to some market research done by one of our members, Russell Drake, who personally interviewed over 130 Black businesses in Orlando, those businesses who adopted a to-go model did very well, along with many of our food trucks. It was a time for us to focus on business strategy, so we had a spike in business planning in the business planning industries, but unfortunately, our beauty industries took a hit just like everyone else's. However, most small Black-owned businesses didn't get the access to the relief funds.
Yeah, you talk about the PPP funds that were out there for businesses. They did a second round of PPP funding, which was gobbled up very quickly as well. And, many Black businesses were left out of that second round. What are some of the other unique challenges that Black businesses face?
Well, the biggest challenges that businesses face is a lack of funding and capital. In the community, sometimes it's easier to get a $30,000 loan for a car than it is to get a $10,000 loan for our businesses. We are still suffering from the effects of redlining from the 30s and the 50s, and it affects the way that our businesses are run and how they're being treated. And also some of the stigma that we have around Black businesses lacking quality and services. So we do face our own personal challenges.
And so how can Black businesses use what's happening to their advantage? So I guess I'm asking that question because, and I'm sure you've seen this too, Fortune 500 companies, they're posting these messages and commercials and all of these things with support for Black Lives Matter and support for people of all backgrounds, especially people of color. What can Black-owned businesses do? Do they need to scream from the rooftops, I'm a Black-owned business, or what can they do?
Well, it is important. I remember back in 2015 when, no one was speaking on this and we were protesting and things were going on and the silence was deafening. So I think right now that all these companies that are just, shedding light to this cause, it's time for us to make sure that we are seen and that we position ourselves so that we can be patronized. Go on social media and make sure that your business is being supported and seen on the front lines.
Let me ask you this, because I mentioned, I want to circle back to this because I think it is an important point when you talk about a lot of businesses that may not necessarily be Black-owned businesses, but are voicing their support rather written or either on social media or commercials, their support for Black Lives Matter. I hate to say this, but I do want to ask, do you think that some of this is for show? Do you think some of it is legitimately caring? And what can Black businesses do in order to kind of get a piece of that pie? Because a lot of times we tend to be a little shy, or Black-owned businesses, about kind of saying we're Black-owned because you kind of just want to be seen as a good business in a lot of situations, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think that makes a really good point. But you know what? I can't speak to the intention of these companies, but I will say that, what they say, any press is good press. It gives opportunity for us to say, hey, you know what? I am just as good as any other manicurist, hairstylist, massage therapist, lawyer, doctor, real estate professional. We are just as talented. We are just as smart. We're just as savvy. And so it's time for our, not only just Black communities, but all communities to venture out and seek the best as opposed to who you just know.
Yeah. All right. So don't be afraid to toot your own horn. That's the takeaway we're gonna end it with today. Petrona Ramsay, really good advice. I appreciate you joining me this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a great one.